Hello everyone, it's me again. Well, it's Tuesday, so it's been a couple of days since the match, since the cup game on Sunday. So I just didn't have time to post the video really before or sit down and record some stuff. The result didn't go our way. We lost 2-0. However, you really have to take the positives from every kind of game. And basically what I have learnt, and it was told to me by another coach a little while ago, about taking the positives out of every game and not just focusing on the end results. Yeah, the lads will be disappointed, as I was a little, to go out of the cup, but I had 11 turn up, referred to as a bare 11, so no substitutes. The other team obviously were playing at home, so they had a good 5 subs. Their turnout would have been increased because they're at home. If you're travelling, you can struggle sometimes. Some of the players let me know the day before on the morning that they had some illnesses or just weren't able to make it. It is what it is. You've just got to go with it, I'm afraid. One thing that I'm very adamant about is I don't like to play what's referred to as ringers. I won't play lads that aren't registered for the team. I won't just kind of slip in a mate of a mate because he plays a bit and he's available. I find that undermines the rest of the team. I know my son's probably been a little bit of a victim of that in the past, of being dropped so another player can step in. And I just don't like doing that. And plus, it's against the rules and you can get a fine from the league and potentially lose points. But for me, it's just morally just something that I'm not prepared to do. So I just went with the 11 players that I had that turned up, and they were a good 11. Obviously, because of that, I did have to ask 1 or 2 of them to play in positions that probably they're not familiar with week in, week out. And I say this, and I know a lot of people think, well, footballers are footballers and they'll play anywhere. As they get older, they kind of are more fixed in their positions. So I will have lads that will say, they'll look at the weather, they'll see that it's a little bit wet and damp out there, and they'll relish it and they'll rub their hands together and say, that they're going to slide because they're defensively minded. They want to tackle. I would encourage them to stay on the feet. And not just because we don't want to give away fouls and we don't want to kind of be rolling around on the floor, but because I was giving him a lift and I don't want to see him get mud and God knows what else all over his kit and then have to get in my car on the way home. But it's just kind of the boys now know their kind of positions and roles, and that's where they prefer. So you will get those defenders, and they want to be defenders. The goalkeeper, as crazy as goalkeepers are, and they're gold dust to find a good goalkeeper. Our goalkeeper is amazing. He really is. I know the results are always tough on goalkeepers, and I'll always say to him week in, week out, when goalkeepers make a mistake, invariably it leads to a goal. So the pressure's always on them, whereas a striker kind of misses a shot or it sails off into row Z. Nobody really pays attention. The striker may take it on his shoulders and feel downhearted, but we move on. Nothing's really been lost apart from we didn't have a shot on target or get a goal. But I was really proud of all the lads, the way they played, the way they held themselves. A couple came hobbling off, so I know they played through a bit of a pain barrier. They could have come off, and I did say to them, you can come off if you need to for the 5 minutes. We can play with 10, it's not a problem. Play with 9 men, we've done it before, so it's not really a problem. But ultimately, I was really proud. The difficult thing you'll have as a coach is getting that message across to the lads, because all you players, because what will happen was after the match, they've probably switched off. They've lost. They're not really interested in whatever kind of like positive kind of mumbo jumbo I'm going to come out with. So I tend to leave it till the Wednesday training session. And in hindsight, I'm probably learned to be a little bit more reflective, because it's easy to be critical and negative straight after a loss, isn't it? What I don't want to do is start picking out individuals in front of the teammates for things that they could have probably done a little better, or decision making that perhaps could have gone a little better, or they could have made a split second decision that could have turned the game. We did have a couple of opportunities to score, but unfortunately those players that were in those opportunities aren't used to being in that position in front of goal. And that's what I mean. I had to ask, as a prime example, I had to ask some of the players to play in positions they weren't familiar with. So I had to ask a defender to play on the wing. He's capable of doing that, and I see it in training that he does it. But in a live match scenario where he's got kind of like pacey defenders coming at him, a goalkeeper that's kind of like going to be charging out towards him, he's not used to those one-to-one situations, because in training he doesn't do that all the while, and you can't cover every single base. So in any training scenario, I tend to have to split them up into attack and defence, because again, time only allows that. I get an hour to train them. down at kind of the club. So really, you've got to make the best time of that. One or two of them will play football elsewhere. They may be in five-a-side leagues. They may play at colleges. They may play. For my son, I mean, he plays football on a Friday night, just the five-a-side stuff. With friends. And I've seen his game improve on that. He does that a lot. So his game and close ball control has improved because of that. So they'll do that, and some play other sports. Some are more athletic than others, and one or two of them, the only time that they'll actually get out of the house is to come football. So we've got a real mixed bag of abilities and players in the team, and my job is to just ease out of them the best on that day and to ensure that they're positively encouraged to be the best version of them on that day and away from the game as well. If I can influence that, then I will. But again, I suppose the key message for today is you've got to take the positives and kind of ignore the results sometimes. And I did learn a lot around that. I learned some of the strengths of some of my players. They did some stuff that I didn't think they could do. I had a defender that came out, one of my centre-halves, that was really comfortable on the ball. I didn't realise that he could dribble the way that he does. Not that I'm going to encourage that all the time. And I've learnt tactically something else around that, around some set pieces. There's some stuff that I'm going to change. I feel like I don't want to say too much in case one of the opposition managers this season is listening to this, like they're going to care, like it matters really. But I did notice that maybe my goalkeeper's kicks from the ground weren't the best. So we're kind of like, I'm having to kind of get a defender to do that. But what that means then is we're a man down and we're out of shape and we've lost our shape on that, and it's easy to have a counter-attack, and we're kind of the keeper again and the defence are right up against that. So this week I'll be focusing on playing out from the back and ensuring that we can improve that and that players know their roles. It's a risky tactic because if the opposition have got pacey attack, then again, if we just fiddle around with the ball and don't get rid of that ball and pass it out and get it out quickly enough, we could put ourselves under a lot more pressure. But I do have confidence in my players. I have confidence in their ability and I have confidence in them improving their own games. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday. We'll see who turns up and we'll see what happens, because the weather, like I say, is turning quite autumnal. So that's also a turning point. Some lads don't like being out in the rain and the snow. I'm used to it now. I've got skin like leather, so I'm kind of used to it. But anyway, that's it for this week, and I'll speak to you again soon. Have a great week all. Bye-bye.